Hey, welcome back. All right, here we go. Day 1, 3-day streaming extravaganza. Here we are, all talking all things UX design and Adobe XD. Thanks for joining us. I am Talon Wadsworth. I'm your host for this segment of the next 3 days. I'm the lead designer for Adobe XD. And joining me is the very talented Pek Pongpaet.
Hi everyone.
Right?
Yeah,
all
you
right.
got it. Yeah.
All right. First time streamer. So everybody in the chat, be nice to Pek. Cut him some slack. He's a very talented designer, but his first time on camera. First time on. Have you done any streaming before?
No streaming.
All right, first time streaming. Excellent. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, good morning.
Pek runs an amazing digital design agency called Impekable. Very nice play on words. And and also was the creator of a recent UI kit for Adobe XD.
Yeah.
As well, the dashboard UI kits.
Yep.
Yeah, excellent work. So everyone should go and check that out. Go download that UI kit. Look at some of the great work. As maybe you're downloading XD for the first time. Great place to start. Download the UI kit. So hey everybody in chat, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Walter, Olivier, Jorge, Prince,
Rashid.
how are you guys?
Hey Tim.
Tim.
Thanks for the URL.
Yeah, Tim is always we can rely on Tim.
He's on
He's
the
a
ball.
regular, man. He's a regular. So if you guys have any questions for us about UX design, about design in general, about Adobe XD, let us know here in the chat. All right.
Yeah.
So, kind of intro what we're gonna do today over the next 3 days. I will say. What are we gonna do? What do you got on tap for us here?
Sure.
Put you on the spot.
Yeah, no problem. So I thought long and hard about this because we're a design and development agency, and it was like, okay, what do I do on essentially on stage?
Yes.
And
design as performance art.
Yeah. And as as the cobbler of shoes, the one problem we always have as a design development studio is we're so busy we don't have time for our own website. It's horribly out of date. Hasn't really been touched in a while. So it's like, hey, if I have an opportunity to take the time to think about something, like, hey, let's try to redesign this website, because it's like every time I look at it, it's a little cringe. So it's like we'll improve it.
That is the perpetual problem, I think, with any designer, is that you're like I want to spend some time and get it right for my stuff, but inevitably you have no time to do that.
No,
So
it's always clients come first.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
yes, indeed.
yeah.
Well, that's a great project. I mean, your site is great to begin with. A lot of amazing work posted up there. But yeah, like you know it better than anyone. So you probably are aware of all the flaws.
Sure.
And everything in there.
Well, we've learned a lot over the years in terms of what clients are looking for.
Yeah.
So we'll cover some of that in the beginning. Yeah.
All right, excellent. That sounds like a great project. Hey everybody in the chat again. Hey, welcome. We're gonna be doing some cool stuff today. We have a new chat and win feature. So if you're actually here joining us on the stream, not on YouTube, over on Behance, if you come over to Behance, in about 30 minutes, we're gonna be doing a little giveaway. The chat and win giveaway today is the always amazing, lovely electric XD socks. So in about 30 minutes, just, if you're here chatting with us, just say hi in the chat and you'll be entered to win for the chat and win prize. So don't forget,
Yeah, I was told I was going to get some socks myself.
We're going to hook you up. We're going to hook you up, for sure. Yes, socks are electric, man. So yeah, let's, should we dive into it? To say,
Sure.
Maybe any questions? We have any?
Yeah, I think there was a question where I was from. So I'm from Thailand originally, and we'll cover some of that, my journey, how I ended up here.
Nice. Cool. Well, let's talk a little bit about that. Let's set it up, because we were talking beforehand here. So you tell us a little bit about your company, Impekable.
Sure.
And tell us a little bit about kind of what's been your journey here? How did you get here?
A little bit about myself. My name is Pek. And I run Impekable, which is a design and development studio here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Here's some of the social links.
Very good.
We've been around for almost 6 years now. It'll be 6 years in October.
Congrats, that's really impressive, man. That's great.
Yeah, and we've grown all organically, basically just starting from myself. We'll cover, during these 3 days, we'll cover just a little bit right now, a little bit of intro about me and what I've been up to.
Yeah.
And, talking about what we're going to do in terms of the website before I start, just designing. It's very easy for a designer to just like, okay, let's just go in and just start improving, but let's try to address some of the problems. So in the several years we've been operating, people have left feedback, and we've talked to prospect customers and kind of what they were looking to see. So I'll share with you some of that feedback. So if you're thinking of designing your own agency website or freelance website, these are some of the elements. I've kind of done some of that work for you guys. And then we'll go into planning and sketching, and then kind of doing the design.
All right, that sounds great. And so when Mohammed was saying he's brand new to UX, where to start? Mohammed, I'm glad you're joining us on day one, because I think that we're going to be talking a little bit about how you start a project. So Pek's got some great stuff to share. So definitely be paying attention here.
Great.
And if you want socks, Niels, hang around about 30 minutes. I'm doing a little chat and win. So, all right. Excellent.
Right. I've grown up in a lot of places. So I'm Thai, started my journey in Thailand, ended up growing up in various parts of the world, including Malaysia, Italy, Vancouver, ended up in Chicago for over a decade. And then in the latest chapter of my life, we moved out to the Bay Area 7 years ago.
Nice, yeah.
And then 6 years ago, started Impekable. A little bit of, this might blow some people's mind. In a past life, this is a long time ago, I used to do the motion capture.
Oh, that's
for
amazing.
Mortal Kombat. So those are the 6 games I'm in.
Oh my goodness, that's all right. Now I'm geeking out. I'm serious. All right. I lived in the arcade with like some of those first Mortal Kombat series.
Okay, so those guys were actually the original Johnny Cage and all the ninjas. That was my instructor, Daniel Pacina.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, that's my master.
So that's how you ended up. You ended up through your martial arts, like
yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
When they were looking for, by the time they were working on MK5. That was the first game I was involved in. My instructor was older, and he said, they're looking for new talent. You're pretty good. Why don't you go audition? So I did, and met with the MK team, met with Ed Boo and the creator of Mortal Kombat. He asked me to do stuff. I did stuff. That was the audition. It looked pretty good for him. So after that, I just kept getting calls whenever they needed.
So cool.
Yeah.
Look, and I gotta say, I've now seeing this picture. When was this taken? This picture.
So this was in probably 2000, 2001. Yeah. So this was for the first MK.
So these are like some of the early real days of motion capture, at least at that.
So that MK5 was like the first time I think they were doing motion capture. MK4 was still is 3D graphics, but it was kind of keyframe animated, and then MK1, 2, 3 were video.
We're all video.
If you remember that, so people actually got in costume.
They're actually in. That was crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah. So here this time they just took my motion.
They had the 3D models.
That was much bigger and much more muscular and all that crap stuff. Yeah.
A few more dots today. That was one thing that struck me. Is like today there's a lot more dots when you see those people Andy Serkis doing like his mocap work.
I just look at their setup, and actually you can see that it's like a very dark room. Yeah. Nowadays they can do it in total light. There's a lot more dots. They have dots in the face too, so they can just capture the face. Much better, almost 20 years after.
That's a really cool journey, man. That's cool. Nice.
Yeah.
I've heard some of the recent series is amazing too. I don't know if have you played the recent Mortal Kombat games?
Yeah. And right now they're focused on Injustice.
Yeah, Injustice.
Kind of like the Warner stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
A little bit of my career. Dating myself here, but from the show. But I used to be an engineer, a software developer, and about 7 years in, I always thought, I was maybe a mediocre. Realized that I was a mediocre engineer at best. At worst, I was probably doing damage there. But I really enjoyed being a designer. This was kind of around the time of the resurgence of Apple as a software and hardware company. And then I was exposed to the Adobe XD team through Adobe Max.
Yeah. Now, little point of clarity. That was what our design team internally was called it was called Adobe XD.
Yes.
Yeah, we were talking like so you interacted with that team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their work, and that just blew my mind. It's like, I don't want to be writing code. I want to be doing this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, just really creating experiences in software.
Yeah, that's right. It was the experience design team. And then we actually had to give up that name when we decided to call Adobe XD Adobe XD.
Right.
So I'm still the only one of probably the only one from that original team that can still make claim to that name. XD. I'm still the only one on the XD team still.
Yeah. So you guys were doing amazing work then, and you know, this inspired my career basically.
All right, excellent.
Yeah.
Michael Goff will be very happy. to
Yeah,
hear that.
yeah. It's been a while since
Nice.
I. And then in the latest chapter of my life, 6 years ago, I just started Impekable, and this journey of kind of being a small business owner, running a small studio of designers and engineers.
Nice. All right. So you've been doing, like, you got really interested in the design side of things, and then you mentioned that, like, at a certain point you were like working like full time, and you had a few clients that were coming to you, and then from there really it was just you just found yourself working with them. You're trying to talk a little bit about
I didn't really
that
transition.
transition. What was that transition like?
Yeah, I was a freelance designer at first, and I just started taking on more clients. At some point, I had like 3 clients who wanted like 40 hours from me, and it was just impossible. I was working over 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
And 3 months of that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna either keel over or I need some help. So I hired a few other designers to help.
Yeah.
And organically, we kind of grew into that. I didn't really set out to start Impekable.
Yeah.
But it just kind of happened, and we just been growing and growing.
That's an exciting journey. So if you guys, any aspiring business owners, freelancers out there, if you have any questions kind of about that transition, let us know. We've got an expert right here who's been through it. 6 years, and you went from just you to
me.
A couple designers, and now how many people do you have on the team?
30 plus,
Wow,
and
all right.
it's designers, obviously UX, UI designers, mobile engineers, web engineers.
Yeah. Nice work, man. That's awesome. All right. Well, because if you have any questions about that, let us know. I think one of the things on the chat, we get a lot of people kind of diving in for the first time. If you're just getting started with the UX design, tips on how to grow. I don't know if you had any from kind of as we were talking about the journey here, like that could be kind of a good time to talk about that.
I think it's a great time to be a designer right now, to learn anything, because when I started out, there was no, YouTube was still in its infancy. There was no people posting how to do stuff on YouTube. I went to these old things called bookstores and bought these really big books, the Photoshop 6, and, it's a really thick book, and you just kind of followed along. Now you can just go on YouTube and watch this, and if you get bored, you can even do what I do and just make it 2x speed and just watch it really fast.
Yeah. So many resources now.
Right, so many resources, including stuff like this.
I mean, I think no matter kind of like how you look at it, either before you were getting experience through, sitting next to someone who had done the thing that you want to do and kind of learning directly from them. And now there's just a bigger platform for sharing for people who have been through these journeys, right? And then a bigger platform for people to then go out and find the people who are doing the things they want to do.
Yep.
Lots of great resources out there. I think today, I think if you have any other questions on that, let us know. Or again, just follow along. Pek's gonna be kind of breaking down some of the process and how he's gonna go about redesigning his company's website.
CDs in the back of the book. That's right. Yeah, they would come up with CDs with a few templates, few exercises. I remember those. As an advice for a new UX designer, I think my analogy. I use a lot of analogies, especially when teaching any lesson. When you first start teaching kids how to write, you don't just make them write paragraphs. You just have them trace letters. So new designers, for us, we want to kind of instill into them best practices, so they end up copying a lot of what we think are good applications. So take any good application, say like Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, whatever, and just trace it. And after you do a few, you start to get a sense of where things are, what size things are, what are good patterns, design patterns. So kind of looking at a lot, and Behance is a great place to look at good patterns, good designs. And then, other resources include Dribble, of course.
Yeah. There's so many resources now to sharing like that. Like, I mean, so many ways to learn here just watching the stream. So, no, I think that's great. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Just kind of summing up kind of where we're at today. I'm Talon Wadsworth. I'm the host today, lead designer for XD. Pek Pongpaet. I knew I was going to screw it up. I could hear it in my head before I said it. All right, and today we're going to be breaking down some of Pek's experience working with his company, and he's actually got this website, and we're going to redesign his website based on some user feedback that he's got from clients.
Sure.
So Olivier, he has a question about embedded code from XD on Behance. Check your file. Make sure you know and you've marked your home artboard correctly, because he's having some problems with the display of that on Behance. And let us know if that fixes it. But you might just have the wrong home screen selected in prototype mode. So maybe go try that out. See if you can fix it out. All right. So cool. All right. So we've got your site here. We've got that up and on your and yeah, it's a really nice site. I was checking it out, and actually, you can actually chat with. There's a little secret here. You can actually send a little message to Pek directly.
So this there's no big secret. This goes directly to me. So now I'm gonna get this deluge of spam.
That's all right.
But you can chat to me, and I get it.
So this is kind of your main sort of marketing site for your company.
For the business, yes.
You're showing off some of your best work. What else are you doing here with your site?
Yeah, so we're this is a very typical agency website or freelance or what have you. You're advertising your services. There's some stats here of how many projects, how many people, who we are. Kind of like the logo wall. You can reveal more clients. And then some testimonials. So all of this is to engender trust.
Yep.
So we have really reputable people who've given us testimonials.
Yeah. So this is the people who are going to be coming here, prospective clients,
Correct.
People who are looking to to get your services, to kind of hire you. So the messaging here is all really tailored to that goal, right?
Right. Yeah. So this was our. I would say this site is probably at least 3-4 years old.
Yeah.
We just haven't had the time. We've done small things like adding this chat thing. As we've become partners to other companies, we've added this messaging here. We're official, Twilio and Aruba partners. We're showcasing latest projects. One of the things we did here was it was just really time consuming to add projects to our site just through the CMS platform. What we ended up doing, so this the sad thing was our Behance site right here was more up to date because it was easier to update than our website. So we ended up updating this. There's actually more case studies, and I can talk a little bit about how our Behance site. This does a good. It's a good way to showcase our projects, our clients. These case studies. Here's what we did for this client. Explaining the problem. Kind of highlighting some of the design, some of the work. So like this, and then we're being able to embed videos. So this does a really good job of showcasing what we've done, and it was just
helps you, and it helps you post it up right away.
Yeah,
right?
It's super easy to post, and then the problem was using the CMS we were on and the theme. It was just really hard to update. So what we ended up doing is writing a WordPress plugin that whenever we had a new Behance project, it would just pop up right here. And that did the job for a while.
Yeah,
it's not great, but this kind of it is what it is.
And you were saying you mentioned that the Behance section was getting a little more traffic.
Oh yeah,
right. Than the site itself.
And that's also a good tip, right? Like when you're first starting out, nobody knows about you. Nobody knows who you are. So having a website, although great, is not going to be very helpful for exposure.
Yeah.
But something going on a platform where lots of people are looking for talent, that's a great area to kind of post your stuff. You can see, we get a lot, likes and appreciations. Some of the stuff is featured in different sections. And if we sort it, we create collections. So like, hey, these are the finance app, this is e-commerce, this is mobile app development. And then those are also different ways, because now they're searchable. People can search for these things, and you get more discoverability. So if you're starting out trying to get exposure, I would recommend, although having your own site is great, also making sure that you're on the various portfolio platforms and just cross-posting there.
Yeah, I know one thing from my own experience. Like the sort of the looming job to go out there and like create your own website. That's a lot of work. Yeah. So sometimes any blocker to you just posting work can set you back. Like, why not take advantage of these platforms? Actually post work sooner, and later on, if you want to create a site, you can do that. But you're signing up for a little more work when you're doing that.
Yeah, it is a lot of work, and if you're busy doing client work, you don't have time, like I said, to update your own site. Yeah. And I think Adobe has a great portfolio tool
as well. Yeah, Adobe Portfolio.
So I
connects
think
right to your Behance gallery. Yeah.
So definitely take a look at that. Take advantage of that. Whatever. Having something is better than nothing. Mm-hmm. And if you have, if you plan to, like we do, plan to try to have this thing, but it's complicated, it's friction, you just won't have time to do it. Case in point, our website is so out of date, and
All right, so let's talk about so the website's doing a job today.
Sure.
Right, it's been fine. You've seen more traffic on Behance, so like where do you want to start here on the website? Like what really kind of gave you the idea that you'd come on this week and redesign the website?
Sure.
What were those things you were hearing?
So we started collecting feedback, as we were going along, and actually before we had an idea to redesign the project, the website as a project, an internal project anyways. So we started collecting feedback both from existing customers and prospective customers. Mm-hmm. So I think that would be a good place to start is, before you might have an idea of what you want, but they're your customers and prospective customers, you should be talking to them and seeing what are you looking for in a good designer? What are you looking for doing business with someone? And you want to hit those notes. Yeah. You address those issues, address those objections.
Yeah, and I think that really speaks to kind of a great foundational principle for starting any design project, right? And I think what's kind of interesting about the other side, where we were talking a little bit about the traffic, is that I think the benefit for UX and UI design is that we don't not just have the client or the user, the sort of end user feedback, but we've also got data backing us up, right? So we actually can see the impact our design is having at a kind of a quantitative level, but also a qualitative level.
Sure.
So we're sort of collecting data from both sets to really now kind of help us get going for the direction of our project.
Yeah. Talking about quantitative data, that's good. You want to be looking at your analytics as well and seeing where people are spending their time. And for example, people are looking at our services page, industry page. They're looking at our about page. And our about page is super weak sauce, and we kind of we can talk about that too.
Yeah.
So let's start with that.
Okay.
And
all right.
We'll highlight some of the problem.
Okay. All right. So the problem.
Okay. So here's what works, right? So this is just some of the feedback we collected. So
you reach out directly to clients. Yep. Who were they were successful in hiring you.
Yep.
All right.
And we talked to a few, and here's some kind of the anecdotes, highlights. They like to talk to us, the contact us. Mm-hmm. It's very simple, and so we made it even easier to reach out to me, to us via a chat.
That was the chat part. You want people to be able to reach out. Kind of that human face to the service. Yeah.
So we'll it's a very simple contact form. Make it easy to people. It's really weird how some people okay, here you show all this great stuff, and well, how do I get a hold of you? There's no email, there's no phone number. Make it very easy for people to get a hold of you, and we'll in this new design we'll make it even easier.
Oh, great!
So clear contact form. They like the clean layout. Just keep it simple. Like that it ends with a contact form. Mm-hmm. So that that's part of I think the UX process is what is the objective, right? Mm-hmm. This site, what is the purpose of this site? Is for people to contact us at the end. So the call to action at the end, ideally, of everything should be, hey, contact us. Make it easy for people to contact.
In the most seamless way possible.
Yeah. Client logos look great. So that's, engendering trust.
Yeah, that's. I was just gonna say that's that key word, right? Like you want a client to come in and really get a sense of what you have to offer, and the work that you've done, and that you've done work for other clients.
Yeah,
they want to say like, oh, I'm like that company.
Yeah,
they were successful in hiring, and Pek did a great job for them. So.
Right.
Yeah, and then I think that's a really good goal to have.
Yeah,
so.
And that's a word that comes up a lot in this discussion in our talks was trust. That they want to come away with a feeling that other clients have
been successful. Yeah.
And now we go through some of the problems. Okay, first, the carousel, the slides. There were too many slides. The slides where the carousel was a little too slow. They prefer, now, if you look back, there's lots of sites have long scroll, and people don't have a problem with that.
I feel like we're still fighting that perception today. Like people they heard that a long time ago, like, oh, it's below the scroll, it's below the fold. They're not going to see it. And you're like, well, everybody's just scrolling all the time.
Mobile has taught people to scroll, and I would say scrolling has less friction than clicking.
And clicking and waiting for something else to load.
Yeah, well, right. You hit on several points, right? Like when you click, you know that something has to load. You have some anxiety because you don't know how long that's going to take. You also don't know where you're going to go. Whereas a scroll, I just go a little down, and if I don't like it, I scroll back up. There's no penalty, so to speak. So people prefer scrolling. So rather than having multiple things, having the carousel, a scroll would be preferable.
Yeah, that's actually one of those things. Clicks. One of the things we paid a lot of attention to when it came to the details of XD that we really thought about is like anytime there's a click, and the user's not sure what's going to happen next, like that's a little moment where like they may be waiting. There's a little hang up. And you string enough of those together, like you've now made something feel maybe a little inefficient or a little laggy or a little, again, like people are aware of those like little moments, and as they build up in an experience, like it has a major impact. It has a bigger impact than you anticipate at the end of the day, Yeah.
Next, testimonials. So testimonials, one of the problems was they'd read a testimonial, but it was just kind of like living on its own.
Sort of abstract.
In a way. And what they wanted to see was being able to see the relevant work regarding that testimonial. So, our testimonials didn't link to anything. So like, okay, that's a great testimonial. Like, okay, for this client, like, how do I find what you guys did for this client? It wasn't linked. It wasn't connected. Like, okay, that kind of just stood in its own silo. So we're going to tie stuff together in this new version.
Very nice. That was probably maybe a section that you added maybe later, right? Like you see sometimes when these things are disconnected, like a website's a living, breathing thing, and so you added elements sort of throughout the development process.
Yeah, and a lot of times the testimonial is easy to put up. Case studies take a longer time to put up, so you never link it.
Very true.
Or people might think these are separate things, like logos and testimonials. Kind of like you're just showing them, and we can cover some of that. People wanted to find out about the team. Like, well, what is your team setup? Who are these people? Like, what is their expertise? Where are they? How big are you guys? Can you handle a job this big or this small?
Related to that is that one down the bottom left is that not obvious, like the specialization thing, which means that maybe they're not getting right away that message, like, what is it that Impekable can do for me?
Right.
So, kind of connects to that, like some of those other elements that you were speaking about.
So we gotta make it more obvious, right? It wasn't immediately obvious that what do we do? An agency is very broad, right? Like when you say, we would do the design and development company.
I'm putting these socks up here not to interrupt you, but it is almost chat and win time. It's now chat and win, not just giveaway. It's a chat and win because if you're over on YouTube or you're here in Behance, all you have to do to be entered to win these lovely XD socks is just say hi to us in the chat. So here we go. Everybody, right now.
Come on, say hi.
You're going to be automatically entered. If you're on YouTube, hurry, jump over. We're going to give away these socks. These are slick socks. I actually just barely got a pair myself. So these are hard to come by, even though I'm going to hook Pek up. So.
Oh, yeah.
Now I know.
Yeah,
oh, there we
look
go.
at this.
Now it's exploding because the socks. Because you
socks,
can't.
yeah.
Seriously,
You
like
socks.
you can't. Everybody likes socks. It's like the thing. I just like even like my father-in-law, like he's into cool socks now. Like like this guy years ago, all really boring stuff. Now. He wants a pair of XD socks even. I want to get
It's a great conversation piece.
Yeah, it is. Very stylish. Got the hit of pink. That's actually I love that. There was some discussion about the pink logo back in the day when we first introduced it. I've always been a fan. All right, let's see. How much time we give him, Paco? All right. Oh, good. That's right. All right. So Gus. Beyond this, everybody's saying the chat is blowing up.
It is blowing
Everybody is saying hello.
How bad do you want these socks?
Yep. So yeah, all right. Well, very good. All right. Well, we're gonna give some socks away here in a minute. So if you've said hi, you've automatically been entered. So, yep. All right. Oh, do we do the video? Oh, before the announcement.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Normally it's at 0, but this time we're just doing for the.
Okay. Well, we have this awesome little video we're gonna share. It's really cool. So before we announce the winner, I can't wait to see it. So it should be good. Everybody, all right. The socks dying down a little. Soxed. I like that from Maroon. Very nice. Hey there, everyone joining. Thanks for joining us for a chance to win some socks. Hang around. Got some questions? Let us know. Oh, all right. We have a winner.
Who's the winner?
Are we gonna show the video first? We're gonna show. Right. All right. And the drum roll with Tim in the chat. Christian Stengel is our winner.
Congrats,
of
Christian.
the XD Socks. Thanks for joining us here. And remember, I think we're doing the socks every segment.
Yeah.
So if you missed it now, you can come back from it's the 1 to 3 show time, and you'll get another chance to chat and win. It's a pretty slick video.
It
I
is.
like it.
I like it.
All right. Now back to it. Sorry for that little break, little interruption here. Okay,
No
so you've gotten some feedback from your clients.
Yep.
These are clients that they've hired you. You've done some work for them, and you've stated some goals for the site itself. You've identified some problems. All right. So where do we want to go? Where do you go next? So now that you've sort of done that.
Yeah.
What are we ready to do now?
Yeah. So we haven't quite finished with the problems.
Oh,
but maybe we
sorry
can
about that.
we
Yeah.
can kind of do a going
Little
through it.
walkthrough. Yeah, let's do a little walkthrough, yeah.
of the problems here.
Yep.
And right. So going through here,
Yep.
like I think we've
The carousel.
since reduced it. I mean, I think we started with 5, so now
Little
we kind of
faster.
we've reduced how many case studies we have. Well, actually, this might still be a lot.
Yeah.
But this was too many to kind of go through, and people express that they don't mind scrolling. So rather than maybe trying to do this idea, maybe just showing them as a long scroll, and that's totally fine.
Yep.
So testimonials needed to be tied to example work. What do we mean by that? So like they're looking at testimonials. This is great, right? Like you have some great testimonials, chief of staff of Groupon, blah blah blah. But nothing's clickable. So like, where do I go to see this work?
Yeah.
Now that was a problem. Like, okay,
seems
you
like a
said this is good
natural-
work,
yeah.
but where's the work?
Where is it?
So that's a lost opportunity to create more trust. People ask about the team. So like, what does the team look like? And right now, if you go to our about page, really doesn't say much. Our about us, our teams, kind of very cookie cutter, like, I don't know. Yeah. It's almost, it's just, we haven't thought through this. And it was just like, this was like basically our first pass, and it's just get it done.
Yeah.
It's just the chat broken. It's probably not broken. It's just nobody's responding because I'm on this show. It's like it's blowing up.
Oh, it's blowing up.
Yeah.
But
I'm doing this show, so
You'll You'll have to wait to the response till after the show.
Yeah,
but
I'll
yes,
respond after this.
It does.
It's not a bot.
It
That's
is
a
blowing
problem.
up the phone.
It's not. Yeah, so it's not a bot. It's me
Yeah.
behind this, and I made a conscious decision to want to talk to everyone
You've asked
on the
for
site.
this. Yeah.
Right. That way,
Love it.
I'm a first responder.
Yeah.
And I can triage and say, hey, what do you want? How can I help you?
Yeah, no, I think it's great. Like you were talking about, people like one of the problems was, one of the goals that you had was getting people to contact you directly as simply as sort of quickly as possible.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you're signing up for a bit with that chat, but yeah, do you think? But I think it's worked out. Like, do you like the chat as an element? Is that something you're gonna keep kind of going forward with?
Yeah,
in terms
yeah,
of
and
site redesign.
I'll probably experiment. There's other chat, there's one where it's Facebook, so
Yeah.
it's tied to our Facebook page, Impekable Facebook page. And then that's pretty low friction for people because most people use Facebook. And then that also helps me because a lot of times people can chat and then they don't leave their contact information.
Yeah.
So I don't know who they are. I don't even know how to get back to them. But if you chat via Facebook, the Facebook chat, then I can chat you back. And, I can follow up.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like another, that seems like one of those things like you're using Behance to kind of connect the dots, to kind of utilize a platform
Yep.
to kind of make this a little more seamless.
Yep.
And maybe a little more automated, a little less manual.
Yep.
Yeah, those are all great goals, and again, lots of resources out there to take advantage there
Yeah.
with that. So,
Yeah.
Cool. Well, all right. So do we roll through? Didn't want to cut off. So we had
Yeah,
a
no
few-
worries.
Yeah, did we
There's
get
a
the problems
couple
here?
more.
Yep.
So this was great feedback. Logos of Fortune 1000 that makes us think we're out of the range. It's like, oh, we don't look like these companies.
Oh, yeah.
We're not a big company.
You know,
Okay,
that's a really interesting point. I've heard that from other design studios. Like, are these other places like me, or
Right.
like is this giving out the impression that maybe you're a little more expensive than I can
Right.
can spend on this job?
And we work with both startups and small companies, and these are just I'm highlighting big companies because that's what people recognize.
Yeah.
So, that's but it has a drawback where people think, oh, you guys only work with big companies,
Yeah.
and like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
well we'll have to address that in the design.
Yeah, definitely. Jamie had a question for you.
Yeah.
I think, and there were some other questions related to that.
Yeah.
What are you using today? For
Yeah,
your
this
site?
was a WordPress site because
site.
again, it's about using, instead of taking we don't have time. We have client work. It's the same problem of every agency is like they don't have time to, it's either working if you're busy, that is, do you have time to work on your own site, or do you have time to work on clients?
Yeah,
And
real work. Yeah.
clients,
Yeah.
pay the bills.
Keeping the doors open.
Right. So if that's not hurting, you just focus on the bill, the billable stuff. So it was a simple WordPress site that we customized. Like if you're a designer, you're freelance, don't spend, months coding your own site.
Yeah.
Please don't, work on
No.
clients.
Yep.
Work on the business.
Yes, indeed. I think there are
Yeah.
ways in which now, because a lot of these CMSs have just come so far.
Yeah.
Like Squarespace or WordPress, you can customize it to your liking
Yeah.
to really have that unique experience. But you don't have to go through all that manual update and keeping
Sure.
of that code, And so most of the people I know, like
Yeah.
I still get requests to like do websites for people, and I just send them Squarespace.
Yeah. The Squarespace is great.
Yeah.
The Adobe Portfolio is great.
Yeah. Adobe Portfolio.
And as I
Easy way
mentioned
to get
before, we were getting more hits on, the Behance just because we were doing, it was easier to do the full-on case studies through Behance. So, that was don't discount that.
Yeah, definitely.
Existing platforms.
Do you have a link from the Behance to your actual site?
We do. So we have a link to a lot of stuff. So we
Okay,
have the
there it is, yeah,
web,
yeah.
Facebook. Actually, maybe. Do we not? No, there it is. It's
Oh,
right
there
up
it is,
top.
right there. Oh, right up top.
And then we have all the other social
All right,
links.
good. Making sure we're connecting all the dots.
Yeah, connecting all the dots.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, everyone, by the way, in the chat. So, a couple things to get out of the way. If you're just joining us, I'm Talon Wadsworth. This is Pek Pongpaet. Oh my gosh, did I
got
get
it.
that?
No, you
oh my
got it.
gosh. So good. All right. And we are here designing. We're talking about UX design. We're talking about Pek's journey from an engineer to a designer, now to a small business owner running his own digital agency. And we're going to be redesigning Pek's site. But if you have any questions, we're going to be diving into kind of XD a little more and actually doing some designing in XD. But before we get there, if you're interested, today there is a challenge going on. So if you're on Behance and you're looking at the chat, there's a little challenge tab. And today, if you go download this great kit of animal icons, you can join us and actually design something in XD and share it with us. And we're going to be choosing a winner here at the end of the stream. And Gus, I might be wrong. The prize is the usual. 1 year Creative Cloud subscription for the winner today. So if you're hanging out with us here in the chat, you want to maybe try to give a chance at winning a year of Creative Cloud subscription, go check out our challenge. Go download the UI kit with all the icons and design something in XD. I said we're going to be doing some more actually hands-on design here in a little while. But yeah, great chance to kind of show off your skills, get us to kind of check it out, and then we'll be judging the winner at the end of the stream today. So
yeah,
go hop on that.
Yeah.
All right.
I saw the kit. It looks very cute.
Really nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah.
I would definitely inspire to do some things myself. So go check it out. All right.
All right.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up the problems here.
Okay.
Not obvious what they specialize in, so it's not clear what we do. So maybe spelling that out a bit. This is probably as much as a description. It's like very generic, like mobile solutions or web application.
Yeah.
So what do we do? What is our range of services? So it's not immediately obvious in here. We do have a services section. And this is, again, also pretty broad, so we will expand on that.
Yeah, or maybe highlight that maybe in some way.
We'll bring it up to the forefront on the homepage as well.
All right.
On because we want to decrease friction.
Pek wants your work. He wants to do great work for you.
Right.
So, yeah.
And then the last was like the case studies is very weak, and I'll show you what they look like. And this was actually a result of the theme. So let's case studies. Let's see. So when people click, and this is not even obvious. This is hilarious here. Some of the stuff. This is another problem. So some of the stuff is clickable.
Some of it's clickable.
So this is not clickable. But it's not obvious. So this is just bad UX
I see.
here.
Yes.
But this is clickable. Boom. And the theme that came with this, this is about as much detail as you can do. You show one photo or one resource and then write a little blurb about it.
Yeah.
So it's the theme, although clean, is really weak. And this is where I had mentioned
Using
that Behance did a better job of being able to showcase our work. So if you kind of go to the same, like this is kind of embarrassing. Like this is about as much detail as you're gonna get.
Yep.
But if you go to here, we have a whole case study of this project, and it's really nice. But I wasn't able to do that
with the template
that we're using. So although the template was a good choice for a first stab, it just wasn't doing the needs.
Do you think so? You'd still maintain the Behance presence?
Oh yeah.
Would you want to do more linking from those company logos, like actually over to the case studies, like on Behance?
We're probably gonna try to do a lot of cross-linking. In terms of that.
And so take advantage of what you've got. Make those connections.
Exactly.
Nice. All right.
Yeah. So we have a sense of what's broken, and we're gonna try to address it all in this redesign.
All right. Well, I think you've stated some good goals. So and there's definitely some issues on the site. I mean, people are still contacting you, and you're still keeping the doors open. So that's good.
Sure.
So, So, I mean, there's a lot of pieces here.
Yeah,
How do you want to break this down? Where do you want to? Now that we've sort of talked about the goals and some of the problems, what's kind of up next?
Yeah. How do I do some sketching?
Well, we've got we moved the GoPro. Did we?
Nice.
I left my sketchbook at home where I would have it. Do you have your?
Yeah.
All right.
I have a pen over there. Sure. Yes.
Or the iPad.
Oh, you want to use the iPad?
Sketch on the iPad.
Sure.
Let's sketch on the iPad.
Yeah.
That's good. Then we can just all right.
These
guys are awesome. They've got a great setup here. So now we can sketch a little bit in the iPad, and then we'll just stream it right there behind us. So very slick. So while we're sitting here writing, you guys have any questions for us? You guys new to you guys designers yourselves here in the chat? you know, what's your experience like? Are you designing in XD? I'm a great resources. You know, I have been working on XD for a while. So if you got any questions, let me know. Hey, Madeline. I hope I said that right. Madeline, how are you? Jamie, welcome. I think we answered your question, but I didn't say hello. Nice to see you, Jamie, joining us today. Glenna, everyone, Brandon, everyone, thanks for joining us in the chat. Are you designing in XD with the challenge? If you haven't checked it out, go check it out there in the challenge tab. Tim, yes, patience, Tim. Yeah, you should go and download XD and join our challenge today to get you can get a year's Creative Cloud subscription. You could win if you submit through the challenge tab, and we'll be judging them later in the day. So Tim, we've got some ideas. We'll get back to you though when we start designing in XD. So, yeah. Glenna, welcome. Graphic designer, making that transition over to user experience. You know, I did a very similar journey to that. So if you have any questions about that, let us know. Pek, if you missed us earlier, if you're just joining us now, actually was an engineer, developer before diving into design.
Yep.
And it was actually going to Adobe Max, which was a big inspiration point for you. So, and now small business owner. So that's quite the journey. So if you've got any questions about that journey, let us know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you can. Tim was mentioning XD. If you haven't heard, now free for everybody. So you can just download it and get going, designing right away. So, okay. So
right.
now we've got the iPad set up. Let's do some sketching here.
Yeah. So, you know, we talked about a bunch of things. So I'd like to typically start with making sure we have a checklist of things. You know, I might start a Google spreadsheet of things where we can write stuff here. Is like, what are the key things that people wanted to do? You know, so, you know, they wanted to see, you know, case studies. They wanted to see, you know, testimonials. Man, my handwriting is just horrible here. The logos and gender trust, but not just logos, not just of large companies, but making sure that also the smaller companies are represented, because people were feeling like, oh, you know, this is, you know, you guys are not for me, you're too big or whatever, but that's not true. So we want it to be approachable. Let's see. What else? The services. Right, like they weren't clear of all the things we did. So making sure that we have services, and then in talking to customers, a lot of times, you know, like let's say they're in healthcare or they're in whatever, call centers, whatever. They'll always ask, "Oh, what have you done in healthcare? What have you done in call centers? What have you done?" So making sure that you know, the different industries are represented. So we.
Do you find a lot of your work sort of focusing on specific industries, or are you doing work for clients that sort of cross industries? And is that a challenge in how you display your offering?
Yeah, you know, we do quite a broad range of services for different industries. You know, we work with healthcare, we work with legal, we work with a lot of B2B, enterprise SaaS. You know, there are, as a company, you'll always have a focus. At some point, you'll be really good at something. So for us, we do a lot of enterprise SaaS. We do lots of dashboards. Hence, you know, when we're doing a UI kit, like, you know, we probably do like 10 dashboards, you know, at least a year. Yeah. So we as a company, as a team, we have a lot of dashboard experience. So, you know, we want to engender that trust, right? Like if you are picking between different agencies and like who are you going to pick, you know, the company that does games or, you know, the company that does a lot of dashboards if you're an enterprise dashboard company. Yeah. So you want to make sure that that message comes across. Gets around, and represent that
Makes
well.
Sense.
Yeah.
And then also one, I don't know if you're in, but you want to make sure that that seamless contact that you have, right?
The contact, being able to get in touch, contact. Then the team, you know, finding more information about the team was
Giving
important.
Giving a face to the typical endeavor.
So those are the maybe the high level things that we want to tackle.
Goals that you got for the design.
You know, the clicking, right, and carousel.
That's right. Just some of those more usability UX.
You know, working on that, maybe changing that to be a more long scroll. format rather than doing this.
Yep. Arturo had a great question. If you wanted to say if you had anything ready to go in Illustrator, if you want to use an XD, you can do a couple things. Actually, the easiest is probably just to copy and paste. So Arturo, just open up your Illustrator file, select all the things you want to bring over into XD, and just copy and paste. There's some other workflows. If you're a big user of Creative Cloud libraries, we now support vector objects in Creative Cloud libraries. So you could drag those elements into a Creative Cloud library and then open up the libraries panel in XD and drag them in. So you got some options to kind of jump on that challenge today. So you guys got about 40 minutes left. So get designing if you haven't already. All right. Okay.
All right.
So big goals here. Now what we want to
Yep.
do. Okay. So, but still, we've got a big, like, how do you start breaking down this big challenge now that you've set for yourself? Like, where are you going to start? Are you going to start with, just like some wireframes? You're going to start kind of focusing in, kind of honing in. Are you going to do any editing or like some of these goals? So do you want to put higher than others?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the challenge too, is like, how do we prioritize some of this? I actually don't have a good answer, and that might be something that's fluid in terms of, the design. If we create these blocks of elements, in terms of where people are spending time, maybe we can kind of move that around.
Move those around a bit.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
definitely. And that's really that wireframe part of the process where you're working with the big chunks of information.
Right.
And you're trying to work as quickly as you can to kind of iterate and try out different things and earlier on in the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, it's always a good idea to kind of look at other sites, other companies.
Yeah.
So, I would encourage you to look at, companies you aspire to become, or competitors, and just kind of get a sense of what's happening, right?
Yep.
So
that's a really good point.
Yeah,
Really gotta have an idea of what it is you want to go and tackle,
right. And I screenshotted a couple of just quick templates. If we can switch over to the screen right here, kind of just some common elements. This is more kind of just to get a sense of like, okay, did I miss any broad things, right?
Yep.
This is a agency template. You got about us, services. One of the things I would add would be like industries and case study. So here's your case study. Here maybe this would work well for your types of services, for example. There was a comment that people did like seeing the stats, like, hey, how many projects you've done, how many years you've been around, like that. Try to listen on like the types of, like, as you work with customers, people will ask you the same question. Sometimes I feel like a robot could do my job, because people are like, how big are you guys? How long have you been around? It's the same stuff over and over.
Yeah.
So listen to that, and the stats, for example, could do a good job of answering that. How big are you guys? Okay, we're 30, 40 people. How long have you been around? We've been around 6 years. How many projects have you done? Probably around 500-ish now. So those are the types of stuff you kind of
just the basics, the baseline stuff that people want to know.
Right.
Yeah, it's good to it's good to note those and sort of like say like, well, let's just take care of this. We can actually clear up some confusion and display this information earlier in the process.
Absolutely. Whatever, because now people they just want to do their research online, right? Like you go, you're a click away, so you want to answer all these questions, right? They don't necessarily want to talk to you first, right? Like you go to a store and somebody asks, hey, how can I help you? Sometimes you just want to browse before talking to people. Yeah, definitely. So you want to answer those questions.
So one of the questions that I know we were talking about, the carousel versus the scroll, and even having like different pages sometimes are like little hiccups in the process that people might drop off, like if that's the way things load. Are you thinking one big page, one scroll with like jump links from that main navigation?
Yeah. I was thinking that, and then you know there'll be like probably I'll read more, learn more, and then I'll jump to the
other pages. Yeah.
Because scrolling is I would say less friction, less penalty than clicking. Yeah. Definitely having a team section, maybe covering some of that.
Lots of bearded gentlemen in
this one. It's funny. But you're just trying to get examples, and then people did like having a contact form. Contact form at the end as a strong call to action. So we'll kind of mirror that.
And you've also got that chat element. That
And the
stays
chat
persistent,
element.
right?
Yep,
Which
that
really
is
nice.
persistent.
Yep.
Yep. So I think we have enough of the building blocks
Okay.
to kind of start sketching.
Okay.
All
right.
All right. So we'll switch over and add a new page.
Yeah. Start a new document. Yeah.
So,
There you go.
not now.
All the rating. Rate us.
Rate us.
Yes.
Yeah. So what do we got? We got a huge page, huge long page, right? Like so. Let's just.
So what do you like about sketching? So we mentioned kind of just diving in could be a problem. What do you like about sketching? What does sketching do for you at the start of a process?
It's fast.
Yeah.
It's very natural. You can quickly iterate. You can throw it away. It's just a pen and paper is very fast to me, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And that way, you also don't get bogged down by the minutia.
There you go. That's definitely I think one of those key points. Definitely resonates with me.
Yeah.
I know I can get too caught up in the details if I start
Right,
jumping
right.
into like the design program.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with the fonts, and the colors and the palettes.
Lots
and,
of decisions to make.
Right. There's a lot of decisions but kind of having a thick pen or kind of sets the tone that we're not going to get bogged down by the details.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
going to do the rough.
the overall.
The overall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously we're going to have the hero banner, right? Like boom, boom, boom.
Got to show the work, right?
Yep,
the
yeah.
work
You gotta-
being
you got the
really
lo-
the most important.
Yeah, you got the logo right here. You got your main navigation. And
Best
then you're
UX
gonna have a
practices, gonna have
call to action here. It's probably gonna be a strong button color, primary color. And making contact easier. One of the things I saw that was a good practice is having a phone number. So like right there.
Right
so
there at the top.
don't be shy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
don't be shy about that. So
And that's
just
where earlier when you were
having a
talking
phone
about
number right here.
the advice you were giving to actually look at examples and actually break down a bunch of different examples of things that you want to do, you can start pulling out and teasing out those patterns, right?
Yeah,
Some of those best
exactly.
practices that people have kind of gravitated towards that because it works.
Yeah, exactly. And so what do you want people to do, right? Like I want people to contact us. So the primary call to action would be
Right there.
contacting us, and then providing a number makes it pretty easy.
And it's really a journey is what you're kind of describing as you're going to work down this page, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you really want to take all those different goals that you have in mind and really construct like a nice narrative, like an
Yep.
experience for people to walk through, you
Yep.
know? So at the top, if all they see is the top of the page, what information do you want them to get? What action do you want them to take? And be
Yeah.
thinking about that kind of as they scroll down through the whole page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people didn't necessarily care for the carousel up top. So, and we looked at a bunch of different other agency sites, and some people had video, and actually video resonated pretty well because it required no work. An auto-playing video,
Does, yeah.
it just does its thing. So we
Yep.
can like show different, few second clips of different works. Like that's less friction on somebody and then making them click. Actually, sometimes people don't click and they just immediately scroll down. So what happens is you have these 5 carousel items deep and they didn't see the 4.
Yeah.
But an auto-playing video might work better because you kind of can just quickly show all that. So that might be a video that you play.
There you
go.
And I actually, thinking about these different platforms, we've been talking, and we have a dribble page now for our team, and we've sort of seen through analytics that actually like video actually resonates more. Like that actually gets people's attention.
Yep.
They like seeing things in motion. They like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
Like we've kind of all decided that we've moved beyond static comps, right?
Yeah,
we like
yeah.
seeing things.
Well, you can tell more.
Yeah, tell a story.
A static shot is one frame, and a video is you can convey more information in
Yeah.
the same amount of space. And actually, we've done the same. Like you go to our dribble page, everything is the latest stuff is more recent stuff is all GIFs now.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So we got big things showcasing the work, the big splashy video. Got your contact information. Of course, we've got some navigation. What work is the? Let's go back down. Let's go through the rest of the page here. What else do we have
So
in mind?
it's going back to trust. Like
Yep.
what is going to engender the most trust?
Yeah, from the get-go.
Right from the get-go.
Yep.
And So one way to do this is just kind of like throw the logos up, like the logo wall.
Yeah,
And actually,
yeah.
our office is like that. You go to our office, the first thing you see is the logo wall. It's actually almost, it mirrors the website in the sense that when you go to a website and you immediately see a logo wall, in our office it's the same thing. You see the logo wall. So we might want to have some logos here. So we'll just do logos, right? Boom, boom, boom. And there's quite a lot of logos, so maybe we do like a open more, or maybe ... whatever. We'll kind of think about that.
Do you have a sense of what you think the right amount of logos is? You talked about trying to balance, the large and the small. How many do you think gets that message across, and what's the right kind of mix there?
I probably not a lot. 16 is probably overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm a middle guy. Maybe I was thinking 8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 4 is probably not enough.
Yep.
But then we initially showed all the big logos, and then people thought the feedback was, well, maybe you guys are not for me, because this you guys are like focusing on the big enterprise clients. Like I'm not a big enterprise client. How do I handle that? So I thought about it, and like how do we handle that? So, but at the same time, we want to impress people right away.
Yeah.
So one solution we came up with is just having this notion of tabs.
Yep.
Right up top, and then maybe it's the selected tab is our enterprise clients, right? And then these are our small clients.
So the startup,
Yeah.
Yep.
So you basically can toggle between the two.
No, I think that's a really great idea. Yeah.
Right, and then it's making it obvious that this is selected. So like, okay, so then you can switch and like, oh, okay, I'm a small client, and nowadays analytics tools and website tracking tools are pretty sophisticated. You can basically kind of if you know where the visitor is coming from, maybe you can tailor and preset some settings, right?
Yeah.
Like if they came through an article, let's say you did some content marketing, and you wrote an article on, kind of like American Express Small Business Forum. So that people there are going to be small businesses. You might default that tab to the small business tab, so that, if that that's like a small business audience. If you wrote a white paper, on Gartner, whatever, and then, those are big enterprises, big decision makers coming to your site, you might want to make that default tab.
And that there's something in there I think to highlight for particularly those of you who are kind of new to the UX design world, is that part of being a UX designer is really thinking about technology, really thinking about the web and how the web works, and like experiences can actually change depending on kind of like what links you're following in, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or what information are you getting, and how can that help change or tweak the experience of your site to really tailor that experience directly to those users.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So in this next iteration of our site, we're really thinking, you go to Facebook and the experience is personalized to you. You go to Netflix and all the recommendations are personalized to you. You go to Amazon and all the all the products you see are personalized to you. And and you go to somebody's site and everybody sees the same thing. That's kind of like we've moved beyond that. There's technology that allow you to personalize a site.
Yep.
So I think it would be great, because people want to see, one of the feedback is I want to see stuff relevant to me.
Yeah.
If I'm a healthcare company, if I'm an enterprise SaaS, if I am a consumer mobile app company, I want to see stuff that's like, what have you done that's relevant to me?
Yeah.
So you might want to find ways to find platforms that allow you to customize that.
Really help you be more flexible and be actually display more information, and then just basically cut, kind of curate that set depending on the users that are coming in.
Absolutely.
So it helps you kind of tweak your message and sort of account for more people coming into the funnel than before. That's actually one of the examples. We made a very small tweak in XD, and actually throughout the experience, like we're thinking about like what information are users giving us. And one of the biggest changes we made was on the start screen. So when you launch XD for the very first time, we know that this is your very first time using XD. So we actually want to get the information to you to help you feel more successful.
Yeah.
So there's one state of the start screen for the very first time you launch XD, and then when you come back and you start using XD more, that start screen changes.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a very simple change. Again, it now emphasizes things that are more useful to you once you become a user of XD. And it was a very small change, but it had a huge impact on the app and how people use the app.
Yeah,
and how people felt successful with the application. So for the first time user, we emphasize the sample file.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little step journey trying to help you kind of use some of the best features of XD and kind of understand the workflow.
Yeah.
And then when you come back, we really focus you about getting you into starting new work or getting you back into the last thing you were working on.
Yeah.
Very small tweak like that can have a huge impact on your site or on your app.
Yeah. And I like that idea of, as a user experience designer, you have to constantly think about the user experience. And, in terms of the design of the site here, who's the user, right? The user is a prospect customer, the prospect client, and they need, what do they need? And, this product, think of the website as a product. As it were, and you have to design this product to meet the needs of this user. So, a lot of times UX designers, young UX designers, not novice UX designers, when they think about this is because I have this business hat on all the time, coming from a designer who now has a business hat on, I think, a lot of designers will think of, okay, whatever they're designing, this client hired them to design this, they focus all their UX thinking on that product.
Yeah.
But I encourage our designers and our engineers to think of the client interaction as UX as well. So there's an experience that the client experiences with us.
Yeah, definitely.
So not just the client's product and the client's client users, but what is their experience with Impekable?
Yeah.
We have to consciously design that experience as well.
I think that's that's a thing about like the profession of being a designer is taking in all this information and then really thinking very very critically about it, very thoughtfully about it, and then when you are ready to to present it or to display it or to communicate it, you really have to be thinking of it as an experience. That there are these people who are going to view it, and you want them to. You're communicating something to them, so you want to do that in the most sort of direct or efficient way possible, or the most delightful way possible, and you use all the tools you have as a designer to do that and have that be successful. Any of those interactions. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So hey, welcome everyone. Just wanted to sort of give a step back for a second. The meta discussion here. Thanks for joining us here on the live stream today. I'm Talon Wadsworth. I'm the lead designer of XD. This is Pek Pongpaet. He runs a designer and runs Impekable Design, but has a background in engineering as well. So if you guys have any questions for us, again, we're actually redesigning Impekable's site today, and we walked through some of the problems, some feedback they've heard about the site. Seemed like a great opportunity for Pek to spend some dedicated effort, sort of thinking about his own site and how he presents his team and his work. And we're just kind of diving into how we might go solving some of those problems that came up through those interviews. So.
Unicorn, that's a term.
Unicorn, yes, the fabled unicorn, and wearing all the hats.
It's actually bad being a unicorn because you take that for granted, right? Like the early clients had it good, right? Like they would hire me, I would design it, I would code it. Check it in, ship it.
One-stop shop.
One-stop shop. One guy for the price of 3 guys for the price of one. And then as I grew my organization, I learned that most designers don't touch code at all, and most engineers, they just want to be given the design. He's like, don't make me design. And that was a learning process for me, where it's like, okay, there's people are not like me, and you gotta have different processes and different handoffs, and also thinking about that UX within the organization is like, how do the engineers want to work with the designers and that experience?
It's an important collaboration. I think that as any designer, like there's always that question, like, should you learn to code? And you came from that world first. And I think that while necessarily everyone has probably varying opinions, but I think you need to have an understanding of kind of the technology or the platform that you're designing your service or product for, so that you can best take advantage of it. Right?
Yeah,
And we were talking about some of these things here, like knowing that like how the web works is really displaying information in a very dynamic way, instead of carrying with you, information about where you've been, maybe other interests you might have, and taking advantage of that information to customize or tailor the experience to best communicate to that audience. Right?
Yeah,
'Cause,
yeah.
You give people, like you have a website, people could be coming from anywhere, but if we know a little bit more about that, that really helps you sort of, again, be more successful in communicating kind of your value to potential customers.
Yeah, I think there's value in you can design more amazing stuff if you can take advantage of the platform, or if you are aware of existing technologies that you can take advantage of.
Yep.
So for example, kind of, we talked about showing enterprise logos and small client logos. There's ways to customize, dynamically customize and personalize a site based on where they're coming from. The URL referrer page. There's also technology nowadays to customize the content dynamically based on what you're clicking around. As an example, if you're in a site and you're clicking only enterprise dashboards, when you go to the services page, maybe you reprioritize or reorder, reshuffle the orders of services to kind of emphasize your SaaS experience, your enterprise experience, your B2B experience, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Rodrigo and Cody actually have some great questions here in the chat. So Rodrigo, he says he's a front-end developer experience, and he's trying to move into UX design. So any tips on what pitfalls to avoid when you're making that transition? What do you think?
Well, I think, I have a very similar experience. I went through that, being a front-end engineer and transitioning into UX. There's a huge benefit because, you're building what you're designing. I think some of the main pitfall to avoid, I would say, is you are probably going to design something you are very comfortable coding, because and that will not stretch your imagination and your ability as a good UX designer, because you're gonna lean towards, oh, this is hard. If you're gonna be the guy coding it, you're like, oh, this is gonna be real hard.
Yeah.
And then if I go this way, if I design this way, it's gonna be easier for you. So I think you have to really put in the shoes of the customer, and say, what is going to be best for the customer.
Yep.
But then also balance that with what's feasible.
Yeah.
And your front end background really comes in handy, because you know what's possible, what's hard, and what's easy.
You're not going to overpromise necessarily. Yeah. No, actually, that was exactly the advice, Rodrigo, that I had as well. I think that whenever you're approaching anything from a design perspective, it's good to know, be aware of the limitations. It's good to know, again, kind of the boundaries in, have some idea of that. But it's also good to know, when to break them, right? And to be able to sort of break out of that box. And we're kind of talking a little bit earlier, one of the things that really inspired, XD was Flash. At least, that's where we sort of think about Flash and what it was able to give, the tools it was able to give designers to really push and create really amazing experiences for themselves or for their clients. And then that really, again, kind of pushed technologies to support those kinds of experiences.
Yeah.
And it's good to have that tension. That tension is good. That's good to sort of push up against the boundaries. And so, I totally agree. If you're maybe wearing that dev hat a little too much, you may be leaving some potential on the table. You may be leaving some of those ideas that maybe could have delivered a better experience for your client and for their users, because maybe you kind of you put those blinders on,
right?
A little too early. Let's see. Great question, Rodrigo. I love that question.
And Cody, in response to how early do you bring in developers? As early as possible. They don't need to start coding, but they need to be aware that this is what you're trying to do, and make sure that it's feasible.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, people don't. Being an agency, you're always bounded by timeline and budget, right? So they might want the Lamborghini, but if their budget is, like a Corolla, you have to balance that all the time, right? You want to do a good job, but you have to do a good job within the constraints of the timeline and, the budget. Yeah. And that's the biggest challenge, I think, with agencies or any project is you don't have that. You might see a project in and of itself, but you don't know what the constraints were,
Yeah.
right? Like a
Yeah.
lot of stuff we're cranking out, like, hey, could you have this done by tomorrow? It's like, oh crap. And,
Like, well,
okay.
it took a little longer than
Yeah.
It's gonna take a little longer.
So balancing what's feasible within that, is always the constraint here.
And we work in a very similar way on the XD team. When we're thinking about new features and really talking to users, and then when we are deciding, okay, what do we need to make this happen? How much time do we have? Is there prior art? Is this something that we think is very translatable? Can we know the boundaries of it a little more versus something that we want to maybe innovate on, or we want to dive a little deeper to solve the problem in a new way? That kind of decides some of when we get engineering involved. So like some things are simple, like text underline.
Right.
We know what that is. We know how much work it's probably going to take an engineer to do it. We'll design it. It's pretty straightforward, as opposed to something like layout constraints. Right. Something where we have a request for to be able to have a component, a UI component, be able to sort of apply some layout constraints. So as you scale it to different sizes, it behaves in a certain way.
Yeah.
Those elements within that component. So something like that, we from the get-go were involving engineering.
Yeah.
Like that was a problem where we want to do this. We want to do this better, right?
Yep.
We want to innovate on this in some way, and so we go through kind of more of a discovery process where we are involving engineering very, very right from the get-go in our process. So it just kind of depends, and I think it lines up with that, resources, time, and what will best communicate the idea or the project for the client. Yeah.
Another way to think about this is sort of this effort value matrix, right? Like so you have all these features you want to do. So we might have columns of, here's what the engineering and design effort would look like, high, medium, low.
Yep.
And then also the value to the customer.
Yeah.
Right. So you would simply prioritize by, low effort, high value.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one way to kind of prioritize UX, features and development features.
And sometimes you get those clients that want to go for the Lamborghini. And sometimes you get those clients that want to go for a nice, sensible midsize.
It's being in the business world. I think money is something that most people are very uncomfortable talking about.
Yeah.
And I find that it's very useful to bring it up front, right? Like think about a car dealership. People are like, what do you want to spend?
Yeah.
Right? Because that way they don't waste your time, you don't waste their time.
And they can understand the trade-offs.
Right.
If you still tell them up front. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can come up with, I think, creative solutions, for any price point.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
And, I had some experience working at, design studios in the past. And sometimes we did, really, sometimes some clients, while they couldn't spend enough, they actually gave us more freedom.
Yeah.
Right. As we're, other clients who maybe were had a really high investment, like they're really investing a lot into it. There was less leeway.
Yeah.
They were more. They knew exactly more what they wanted.
Yeah.
And so you're always kind of balancing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you sometimes want to give them options too, right? Like paths to upgrade, right? Like if you give them one option, then you're kind of stuck with that option, that budget, that timeline. But okay, if you want it faster, we can scale it down and do this.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you really want to go for it and you
Yeah.
have great ideas, and that's partly why they're coming to you.
Yep.
Case in point, we have like a consumer-facing website where clients come to us. And they want illustrations, right? And like so give them a ball. They're asking for a ballpark, and like, well, for 2D illustrations of this thing, that's like probably going to be the cheapest option, with a few animations. But if you want some 3D, they were asking for like potentially some 3D renders, static renders. Like we could do that too. And I said, well, here's what would be really cool is once we have the 3D renders, I could do this WebGL thing where you could take the model around, spin it. You can have different, preset camera angles and make it really nice. And that's you're essentially upselling. They had an initial ask. I don't know whether they wanted to spend that amount of money, so I gave them a cheaper option. Like, well, if you don't have the budget for this, here's the 2D option, 2D illustrations, cheaper. And then, but if you really want to go all out, I really recommend. This other option.
Yeah.
So they know kind of like the different tiers.
Yeah. No, thanks for. I think that's great sharing that experience, right? That's actually part of the conversation. I think that like designers often don't pay enough attention to. That there's this whole business around getting work, right, and talking to clients. So yeah, I think thanks for that. That's really great. So any of you would be small business owners, any designers looking to strike out on their own, if you got any more questions, Pek's a great resource.
Just wearing those 3 hats. Feel free to ask those type of questions.
6 years and growing the studio to the size you're growing, a lot of great experiences to share. So thanks. So everybody, if you haven't, you've got about 10 minutes left to submit to our challenge today. And that challenge, if you go and you choose to accept it, you could win possibly a year subscription to Creative Cloud. So go check out the challenge tab here in the chat on Behance and submit through the form there. And then Pek and I are going to start taking a look at a few of those submissions here, and we're going to announce the winner. We're going to judge the winner at the end of the stream today. So go jump on that, everybody. So you got about 9 minutes left. If you haven't, download XD, grab the UI kit, and design a submission for today's challenge. So,
and David Hardy asks, where do I find clients? It's I tell everyone I'm a one-trick pony. I sell to people I know.
As do a lot of the designers I know as well.
It's this is a very referral-based, word-of-mouth business. If people are, design is very subjective. It's very relationship based. So people want to work with people they trust, or somebody that they know that those people trust.
Yeah.
So I would start from your network.
Yeah.
We're almost 6 years in, and I can tell you most of the clients are either someone I know or someone who knows someone I know.
Yeah.
And so ask for referrals. Increase. Ask people, when you first start, just make your network know that this is what you intend to do. Broadcast it, announce it, kind of put your line in the sand you're saying, hey, I'm going freelance, I'm opening up my agency, I'm taking on clients. Make your network known that you're going into this, and invariably someone will reach out. And once you do a good job for someone, I always ask, hey, can you leave me a testimonial, and know anyone else? Like, hey, I just did a good job for you. Anyone else who can need this work? And
Yeah, no, I think it's another great tip, particularly for those who are just starting out, whether design, UX design. A lot of this is just based on relationships. Building good relationships. It's a small world sometimes, so you never know. Like where your next job may be coming from, but it's probably because they've heard from someone else who maybe had a great experience with you in the past.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then let's say and you have your sector industry, right? Like let's say you did your first website for a lawyer, a law firm, and you did a good job. Well, do you know any other law firms or lawyers? Because you already, now you have a piece to show that's relevant. Or do you know if that law firm, knows any other law firms? And or another question is, that lawyer probably this wasn't his first job. It's like, hey, where was your other law firm? Where did you work before? And, do you mind doing an intro?
Yeah.
So those are kind of like the tips and tricks.
Definitely. We actually... Paco, I think what we're going to do, we're going to check out one of the submissions here, because you guys have got about 6 minutes, a little over 6 minutes here. But I was just starting to pull up some of the submissions for the UX challenge today. So the challenge was to download this really cute set of icons, all these cute animals, and actually design a little map or navigation screen sort of related to animals or conservation in some way. So here's one of the examples, and I thought maybe it inspires all of you to do a last-second submission if you haven't. So this is, looks like Wassel Amari did this one, and it has this nice little carousel navigation in this app. Little rabbit. We're gonna go discover that rabbit. So here we are. We're sort of now finding out a little bit more about the rabbit, and we can click back on the home screen, and we can also go and check out the dog section, right? So very simple. Again, just download XD, couple screens, submit. It's great. We're going to be judging them here at the end, but I thought this was really nice use of those icons. We've got a couple others up here that people are working on. Something. Oh wow, 50. We've got this. Well, there's a lot of screens in this one. This has got 52
this is
screens.
prolific.
This is pro right here. All right.
wow,
Very
donation.
cool. Look at
Asking
that.
for
Got all
that,
kinds of stuff. Oh, look at that in all the different states.
Oh, I love that.
Oh,
I love
that's so
that.
cute.
Yeah.
Let's do it again just for fun.
Just people
oh my goodness.
want to play with that.
So good.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's awesome. Love it. Nice work. There's some great submissions coming in. So if you haven't yet, go up to the tab and submit in the challenge to win a year's Creative Cloud subscription. So we're coming down to the final minutes. So if you haven't wrapped it up yet and submitted, get it in there, and Pek and I will be judging these in about 15 minutes or so. All right. Excellent. All right. Cool. Well,
All right.
welcome to everyone just joining us in the chat. All right, so we were talking. We had a lot of great discussion about sort of clients and how to tailor this experience to communicate depending on where those clients are coming in from. Again, to kind of help this site kind of show off a little bit more of kind of the breadth of work that your studio does, both for large companies and for smaller startups. Right, helping tailor that message.
Yep.
So what else? So we had some other goals in mind on the site here.
Yeah.
We got the big work, talking about getting people, showing them the great work, getting them to contact the studio right away, showing us and the clients.
Trust.
Yep.
We got the feedback that people don't like the carousel. It's more work.
Yep.
So instead of showing this in the carousel format, what if we, kind of showed that work right here? Like one piece of work. Let's just say, here's a piece of work, and you talk about it, and the call to action, rather than using the top carousel.
So really
just kind of spacing,
pulling out one work to really highlight here.
Exactly. It's just pulling out that work because people don't mind scrolling, and a long page is totally fine. So we're gonna just park something over here.
Yeah.
And
really maybe a project that really shows off kind of the best of what the studio has to offer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And down the road, if we we can personalize this, right? If we know where they're coming from. It was an article around SaaS and SaaS dashboards.
So
that's in their mindset, right? So we're gonna customize this. This one will be dynamic and will be whatever it is that they came from. If it's a consumer mobile app thing that they were reading about, or the video, we'll tag it appropriately so that when you land, this is kind of what you see.
You're almost talking about like different versions of this design.
Yeah, we're thinking about personalizing it a lot so that it makes it relevant. And thinking about the user experience, right? You want to make it relevant to this customer as soon as possible, as fast as possible. Don't make them work digging for the work that they're looking for.
Yeah.
So we got logos. We got the first case study.
Yep.
Right. What else were we gonna show? And
the team. We had the team.
So we had different elements, right? We got the team. We got services. We got industries. You got the contact form. So one of the questions people ask is like, "What have you done in my industry?" Invariably comes up. So we might have the list of services.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So the grid,
So
that was buried, right? That if you remember, that was kind of buried. You have to go to the services section. So what if we, similar to the logo wall, we had our list of services.
And that's nice, sort of pairing that with a case study, right?
Yep.
Sort of like this is now telling what makes up this case study. Like these are the things that we did, and it is reflected now in this case study in some way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Obviously we do a lot. It's so broad. But we probably want to show a limited set. Maybe there's scrolling, maybe there's tab, maybe there's hiding and view more or whatever. Or maybe there's even categories, right? Like maybe there's enterprise, and maybe mobile, maybe design, and then you kind of just have tabs. So thinking about that. And how you want to do that. So services, and again, we might kind of show another case study, right? Because now we're thinking about just sprinkling it, kind of just adding, and then I'm thinking probably having some contrast, right? Like these are full bleed, and then this is primarily white. The logo is primarily
with
white.
that layout, yeah.
Yeah, case study might be full bleed, very visual, and then you kind of have this white. So it kind of breaks up the space a little bit.
So are you also thinking, Pek, here about like how much is too much scroll? And then are you thinking also about, like the different sort of responsive sizes of this site? As well, at this
you
level?
have to.
Yeah.
You have to. I like having the notion of like not one piece of sort of anxiety is like you don't know how much you have to scroll through, right? So maybe there's little dots on the top or something. You've seen that pattern where you kind of know how many.
No, yeah.
So maybe introducing something like that, or maybe I've also seen it as almost like a bar up top that spans the whole length of the site, and you kind of have a where you are in that space. So just thinking about that, we might play with a few options and kind of show people, right? So you got your case study. What else you got? I think we want to do industries. We got a team that we got to cover.
And of course the
contact
form.
form. Yeah. So kind of this continuation, right? Boop. And so you got your services. You might have, what industries. And this is fluid, right? Like if we find that people want to see certain things, I'm just thinking of these as building blocks. These are Lego pieces.
Yeah.
So industries.
We can rearrange them as we go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you might have different industries.
Oh, yep. All right. Just really quick, I want to highlight. Tim was calling it out in the chat. We are, if you haven't have no more, we're not accepting any more submissions. That was the deadline. We're gonna be taking a look at these in about 10 minutes. So hang tight, and we're gonna judge kind of who's gonna win a year Creative Cloud subscription. So, yep. But again, as the team's calling out, don't worry. If you didn't get it submitted now, we're gonna be doing this in the next hour as well. So with Paul and his guests. So again, stick around if you didn't get it in now. Keep working on it. Keep polishing it. And submit it again. So we'll be giving Creative Cloud subscription away in each of the segments over each of these days. So don't worry if you miss us today. Try it again later, or tomorrow, or the next day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. So back to so we've got all of our building blocks almost.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got industries and so we've got question for you. You've got clients at the
clients.
top. We have these tabs. Are the tabs, could they double as industry?
That could double as industry.
Yeah,
the tabs are general enough. Like I haven't really thought through. They could be industries.
Yeah.
That way we could immediately. That's a great idea because that way, if a client we know, if we did a white paper, in a medical conference or whatever, we could, and then they come from there.
Yeah.
Then I could just filter out by medical the default, so that people are like, these are the whatever
the clients we've done work for. Quick jump off to see that work or that case study. Yeah.
So industry is a good tab. Thank you.
Yeah.
So instead of just large and small, maybe they are industries. Yeah.
I often think about like our job as designers is just connecting dots.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. That's kind of like my role kind of on my team is I kind of sit kind of at this level where I'm seeing all the work sort of coming up and ensuring that like it makes sense as the different features are in progress, and then really just connecting those dots and making sure that it's telling a really nice cohesive story very very efficient way for designers.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Another thing that people ask, you're trying to address all the different questions. I've done enough sales calls and sales meetings and meetings with clients that like, kind of reiterating for some of you who have missed it is like people ask the same questions over and over. How big are you guys? How many projects have you done? How long have you been around? Those type of things come up over and over. This is a great section to maybe add some stats, right? Like how big are you guys? So you might have a thin column where it's like, okay, so we've been around 6 years. How many projects have you done? 500 projects. How big are you guys? We're like 31 people right now or something. And that way it just kind of hits the notes right there of these things that people always ask. You
Yeah,
know, you're
yeah.
always trying to, and then I like iconography, so we might do it as a combination of like a stat with the icon, so that people can. It's easier to digest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same with the industries. Services. I imagine iconography with text. And that's just one way to do it. There's no right and wrong. Just
a way to illustrate your point.
Yeah.
I once had this crazy icon job
Yeah.
working with this company, and they were writing this book, and I had to design a bunch of icons for this book, and it was a little bit of nonsense. The book didn't really make a lot of sense. It wasn't really easy to translate what they were saying into an icon all the times, and I had quite a time just making really strange icons for this book. But I actually went into production, actually went out. The client was very happy about it. But man, it was a strange gig trying to illustrate, give icons to things that really were very abstract, sort of businessy, best practices concepts.
Yeah.
It's a very strange task.
That is very hard. In thinking about the icons of certain things, they can be very hard.
Yeah, I'll have to pull up some of those. They're
Yeah.
quite funny.
Important thing is always get feedback, right? You might have a clear, you live in this space, so you make these mental connections of this icon represents this idea.
Yeah.
But you always have to ask the layperson.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
understand. We had this. Yeah, actually, there's a. I won't call them out specifically, but there's one or two icons that I think haven't quite been settled. Do people understand what that is?
Yeah.
XD?
Yeah.
I wonder if you guys can guess which ones they are. Tell me if you actually understand. They make sense for what we've sort of given them to, but it's a big challenge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going
back to the hamburger menu, right?
The hamburger menu.
What is this hamburger menu?
Hamburger menu.
Yeah.
All right. So I think the last thing to represent here is probably your team, right? I think we have
team.
industries
and the
and the contact form.
Yeah,
right?
team. So team is important. So we're gonna have a thing, and we're for those of you who don't know, we're a very, although we're based in now I'm telling you, people ask this, so it's a question. So where is your team?
Yeah.
We're a pretty distributed team. A quarter of us are here in the Bay Area. Another quarter is all over the U.S. And then another half of the company is distributed all around the world.
Oh wow!
So we have a
Global
pretty remote.
company.
Yeah, it makes for a very interesting lifestyle.
I'm
quote
sure.
unquote.
Yeah, you're probably having meetings at all times of the day.
Yeah, we have clients kind of all over too. We have international clients, and we also have East Coast, West Coast clients. So one of the side effects of running this company is you're very attuned to different time zones. So I know what time it is now right now in Thailand. I know what and the other thing is if you're gonna go this route, think about the customer. Think about, always put it in, when setting a meeting time, always think about their time zone. It's very easy. You're like, oh, okay, it's almost noon here. You want to meet in half an hour. What does that mean in New York? What does that mean in Thailand? So
good point.
Being very attuned to where the customer is, what time it is over there,
Yeah.
even what day, right? If you're a Friday here, it's Saturday morning somewhere else. So
it's hard to coordinate that work probably in the distributed way. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So there's tools that help with that. I have. If you go to my desktop, I have this the clock widgets on my phone.
Keeping you up to speed.
Yeah.
Do you guys use Slack?
We use Slack.
Slack your thing? I'm sure to keep the team working. Yeah.
Yeah. And Google Calendar now actually has a great feature where you can show you 2 time zones.
Oh, right.
So that's really helpful.
Outlook. I wish that was a feature Outlook had.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. And then I use this mobile app called I think it's called Miranda that lets you change time zones. Sometimes it's okay. You're trying to plan a meeting and there's 3 parties, right? And they're you got me and you got my guy in Virginia, you got a customer somewhere else. Okay, what does this work the best? So Miranda kind of helps me. If I move this time to this, then it kind of changes all that. So that's a neat little tool. There's a Chrome extension
that does that as
that
well.
does it puts all the different times that you set at the bottom of a Chrome browser. Some of my team members use that.
We need some to try some of those tools myself. Our team is
very
we have
distributed.
we have it some in New York and in India.
Yeah.
And Romania.
That's very common.
Yeah.
So ours is the same. We have some Europe, we have some India, we have some Southeast Asia.
So we've got the big blocks here.
Yep.
We talk about the team. You're gonna have
How
your
do we
contact
represent the
form.
team?
Yep.
You know, maybe it's a map. You know, that was cool to kind of show where we are and where our team is,
Yeah.
and maybe
Or
even
maybe or are you gonna do the profile pics as well? I know a lot of people do
you know,
the profile.
I'm doing a horrible job of the world map here. It's like, okay, here's, you know.
I remember having to do that from memory with
yeah,
a geography
and
class one time in
you know,
junior
like,
high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Not
okay,
bad. All right.
you know.
Very
we have some-
representational.
We have some people here. We have some people here. We have some people here. We have some people here.
And then you're gonna wrap up with your contact.
Yeah, and then
form?
making it easy for
Yep.
people to contact us.
Yep.
So contact. And you know, we want to help. We have to balance two things.
Yep.
One, we want to filter, we want to qualify and filter customers, and then but two, we want to not ask them so much that they feel like, holy crap, this is too much work. So what do you need to know? Well, you need to know the email, right? Like email. You need to know, for us, you know, what type of project is it?
Mm-hmm.
So we've done that in the past. So if we kind of go through here, we switch to the website. Thank you. You know, first name, last name. We could probably condense that to one field, but this is just so that it's easy for us to have this go right into our CRM.
Yeah.
Email, phone number. I like to call people. You know, it's just the best. Email, you know, it's not synchronous, and you know, it's great when they email you, you know, at weird hours. But if I get a phone number, I much prefer to
Give them a
talk
call.
to
Yeah, definitely.
talk to
Definitely.
them. And
And then you got your project scope.
yeah,
Or
project scope is like
yeah,
just kind of
yeah.
like, you know,
What is
not
this?
too much.
Yeah.
You know, this is probably not enough anymore because
Yeah.
we've kind of grown beyond this initial. Like again,
Yeah.
this is something that we haven't touched in a while.
Yeah.
So everything is old here, but we've made it pretty simple. Like, hey,
Yeah.
what do you want? You know, broad strokes. What do you want to do?
We have some element of the contact information that really can help you understand what it is they're looking for.
Yep.
As quickly
Yep.
as possible.
Exactly.
Give those direct contact information.
And then give me a synopsis of the project. Actually, if I had to add one more thing now, is to just maybe do a drop down for project budget, just so that you know I have a
that's
sense
one
of
thing.
like, hey, is this going to be a
Interesting.
you know a Corolla, BMW, or Lamborghini type project?
Yeah. All right. Nice.
And then you know this is you know some people are like, hey, don't talk, you know, I can't tell you anything until this, and you know,
Yeah,
we do an
of course,
NDA.
of course.
So okay, this makes it easy.
This is a question of how much information do you need versus how much information can they actually give you,
Yep.
like over like a submission form. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is pretty basic
That's
stuff.
looking
So
pretty.
like, yeah,
we've
phone
got
number.
the pieces here, right? Like
Yeah.
of your site now, and so like
Yeah.
I think you know building it in a very modular way, where depending on you know what you need, you could customize this experience. You could move these blocks around.
Yep.
Yeah. So tomorrow, so give us an idea. Okay, we've done this. We've got a good layout, kind of a sketch. We've got some goals defined. We know the problems. We've got some pieces laid out here. What are our next steps? What are we going to be doing tomorrow?
Well, right now, so it depends, right? If
Yeah.
you're a unicorn and you're lazy, you might start with code right away.
Well, we
you know-
talked about that's not a great idea.
And or you know that we have this great tool XD and we want to play with, and we want to design in this, and so that's what we're gonna
Maybe
do.
start
We have the
getting
sketch.
some interactivity to this. Maybe do
Yep.
some different versions. All right.
Yeah, so we have enough, you know, we have a rough wireframe that we
Yep.
can play with.
Yep.
And again, I think of these as modules, right? So like this order is not set in stone.
Yeah.
And so we can play with the order a
All
bit once we see the final product. But for
Nice.
now, I think this is a good framework to think about.
Great. I think it's a great starting place. That'll really
Yeah.
kick us off tomorrow, and we'll get right into designing. We'll be just designing in Adobe XD.
Great.
Might be sharing some new features on the way very soon. We'll see. You never know, Tim. But now let's go. We're just wrapping up our stream here today. We've got some submissions, some great submissions from the chat here, from the community. So let's go check it out for today's daily challenge to win a year's Creative Cloud subscription. All right. So this first one, the Wildlife app. Let's take a look at it. All right. So right, the task was you had to download the UI kit. Oh yes. Let me go full. There we go. That's much better. Let's go. Let's do this. Boom. All right. Here we are. Okay, so we've got this Wildlife app, and you had to download the icon set and use the icons in your app in some way. That was the challenge today. So let's check it out. Oh, we got these icons are just so cute. Look at them. They're so nice. So pretty simple one here. We've got the icons in use. We're gonna go find out a little bit more about the lion. Oh, we're gonna find out how to get there maybe this is for the zoo, for like a nice wildlife retreat habitat. So here we are, and we can see where we're at, and we can wend our way through this wilderness here to see the lions. I'm not sure if the lions are in their own cage or we're all just in there together. This might be a little dangerous. I don't know what's on this path, but very nice. Nice use of the icons. I like the little map here. I like using the icons again here. And then I got some quick jump links if I wanted to jump over to the other sections real quick. Excellent. Great work on that one. All right. Here we have, let me make sure that we have, I actually think I jumped ahead in this one. Let me reset this one a little bit here. And go home. Okay, now we're there. All right. Protect us. Slide up to make a difference. So we're going to click here and slide up. All right, so this is about conservation. All right, so we saw the icons here. I like that bird icon. It's very nice. Got some imagery, maybe a little background blur happening there. Very nice. Where else are we gonna go? We're gonna go check out the rhinos. Oh, and we've got the icons using the navigation as well. And take action to save these wonderful animals. Very nice. Nice work. That's looking good. Got some nice imagery going on here.
Good call to action.
Maybe a little repeat grid action happening here. A little drag and drop with the rhino images.
Yep.
I'm assuming. Very nice. I always like seeing those in work in action. All right, so here we have. This is the one we looked at a little bit earlier. So here we have a nice little carousel. Oh man, we're working on a feature right now that this designer's gonna love, because we have a little carousel where we can kind of go back and forth here from the rabbit to the dog, and wouldn't it be amazing if those things just kind of animated up and down?
Yeah, that would be so cool. Kind of like some flash tweening.
More to come there. More to come there. We're gonna go check out a little bit more about the rabbit. I like the sort of color scheme going on here. It's nice. Continued over the theme now for the rabbit here, and maybe actually we could really.
Actually, it would be cool if it kind of grew into that. Is that maybe?
Yeah. Again, maybe something you could do in the future in XD. Stay tuned. Very nice. Nice use of the icons. It's looking really great. All right. We're going to be going through a few of these a little quick here, but hang with us. All right. Hope for Pets. We were kind of glancing at this one a little earlier today, and this was like 52 screens. Immediately like, wow, raise the bar. We're going to sign in. We're going to sign in for the pets here. Here we are. We're going to go and donate. And I think this is where we were getting really excited. So we want to donate. So this is an organization we want to donate. 5 to 250. Oh, look at the little Chiba. And then, oh no, he's getting really excited. Oh boy, that's just so much fun, so delightful. But this one, I gotta see where are the icons. And yes, I would hate to disqualify this one. It's so good.
Is it in? Where is it? Is it in Adopt?
Profile? Oh, I don't know, friends. I don't see any icons in this one. Okay, if this is yours, let us know where the icons are in use inside your prototype.
Yeah,
Definitely don't want to.
We're not finding it, but it's
okay. This is old work. All right, I just found out, actually. We love it. Great work, but has already won. So, yep. So we're going to move over here to Martin's. This is lovely. Let's see. Oh, and here's the map. This is really nice. Nice seeing also the larger sort of format. There are the icons. We're going to go over here. A little overlay. Ooh, you might be interested in maybe some things we're going to show off tomorrow.
Action, yeah.
Overlays. Very nice. We'll go get our tickets. It's got some nice elements. Do's and don'ts. Nice imagery being used here. I like the sort of, again, this feels very different for a nature or parks app. I like that.
Yeah.
This is really nice. Go back to the home. Yeah, I like the imagery and the map overlay. This gives me a really good sense of where things are. All right, and our last one for today. Here we are on. Oh, we got the map, so we know we're actually directly on the map. We're gonna go find the animals. We're gonna go check out the dog. Oh, and pops it up there, so it shows us now, reveals it on the map where it wasn't before. So nice work. What do you think, Pac? What's your
This is tough.
we're coming
Yeah,
we're coming
I know.
down to it. We got to make a decision. We've got a minute to go. What are you feeling? So we got to take out this one.
Right.
It was old work. So we've got the first wildlife app here.
Yep.
With the map. We've got this conservation app with the
Yep.
icons on the side. Oh, we have more. We have 5 minutes. All right, we have a
5
little more
minutes.
time.
We have more time?
I
Oh.
got a little mixed
Do we have
up.
any other entries?
Any
then?
other? I think we got all the entries. Yeah, I think I had all the entries before the time was up. Yep, that was.
Ravi Sanath asks where his is.
You may have missed. You may have gone past the submission time, but don't worry. You'll be in the next group if you're not here. If you didn't make the submission time for our time, don't worry. Mr. Paul Tranny will be up next, and he'll be checking those out in just a little bit. So, Ravi Sanath, don't worry. Yep, there you go.
Right.
The
We're
Adobe
good.
Live team.
Yeah, you're good.
You're good, man. Lots of chances. This is
Yeah.
just the second chance of many to come, so don't worry about it. All right. This one's standing out to me.
Yeah,
Image-
I'm feeling the same. So
imagery-
we're on the same page. It's the imagery, the full bleed, the combination. They all work
The
together
overlay-
really well.
The overlay of the elements here, I think,
Yeah.
are really nice. Again, I'm kind of thinking about, like maybe some things in the future that might drop in XD that are really gonna even help this one shine even more. So, Martin, like I think there's lots more to come here that really make this experience sing. But I think this is really good.
Yeah,
Really
and
solid.
it breaks away from the traditional layout of websites,
Mm-hmm.
like a bottom navigation. There's a lot of interesting play going on here,
Mm-hmm.
and the use of like vivid imagery with the text overlay really works well.
Really nice, and I think you could even see this almost like on a point of sales display.
Almost, yeah.
As you're
for
coming
sure.
up to the park for the first time, like actually having that like on a little screen.
Yeah.
To actually kind of intro you to the park. Maybe they're also around the park, so you can walk up to the map at any time. Yeah. Do's and don'ts. I love that.
Yeah.
Nice. And there's a little contact information. We were talking about actually the importance of that. Like if you had some questions and getting in contact directly with the organization or with the company that you're looking to get some work from, possibly.
Yeah.
I think this is really nice.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah. Heck, we calling this our winner today?
Yeah.
All right. There it is. Martin van der Zwaan, the winner of a year Creative Cloud subscription. The team here at Adobe Live will be getting in contact with you. Nice work.
Yeah,
Great
well
submissions. Great work all around, everyone.
yeah.
Really nice use of the icons, the map aspect of all of these. I think was really great. And just great use of the work. So if you didn't get a chance or you submitted late, don't worry. There's going to be another chance to win a year of Creative Cloud subscription in the next section, and many more chances over the next 3 days. We're going to be doing this for the next 2 days, I should say. So yeah, great work, everybody. And tomorrow we're going to pick this up, redesigning Impekable, the site.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a great project.
Yeah. We got the wireframe, so
Yep.
we're good to go
And,
today.
and I got a little
To the races.
surprise I'm going to work on that
Yeah.
even Pek has not seen himself. No promises, but again, something to really enhance our experience, particularly
Great.
for web.
Yeah.
For web, I'll say. And you guys have any questions? We're just hanging out here.
Mine said, "Can you get some socks?"
Socks.
Can we hook them up?
Well, join us again tomorrow. We're gonna for Paul's section as well. The next section up here. We're gonna have for every day here and every segment a chance to win the electric XD socks usually in the first hour, I believe, first half hour. So again, if you didn't win, tune in. I will have more there. Gabriel had a question. I think this is the second time posted. Thanks, Gabriel. We missed it there. So this is a great question for any designer. So if you're working with a client, should you do exactly what they want? Is that the goal? Like for them to just come with you with something already in mind, or is it really something that's really what the designer is doing? Is really looking at the objectives and goals of the client, and really trying to come up with some options that best meet that.
So for me, I always approach it with what are the goals? What are they trying to accomplish?
Yeah.
Right? Like if they're just a redesign, they're spending money on this, right? Like they're paying someone to get something out of this. What do they want to achieve, right? Like is this rebranding? Is this to get more customers? how are you going to achieve that goal?
Yeah.
Right? They have an object, and you want to achieve that goal for them. And you're probably not going to be that industry expert. You're not going to know the business like
they do.
like we, we can pretty much design any experience as a company, but we are not going to be the subject matter experts of that business, right? Like if we're redesigning an architecture firm's site, like what are the customers,
clients,
what do the clients who come to an architecture firm want to get out of this, and what is it going to engender trust? What do they want to accomplish? What do they need to convey? You're not necessarily, unless you've been working.
You're there
at
to
an
do your
architect-
job.
Yeah, so
be
you're
the
there-
designer. So that's what we would say. I think it's up to you, the designer, to present the best options for the client to meet their goals. Well, thank you all for joining us. If you have more questions about UX design, about the journey from maybe engineering over to UX, and even maybe about small business, running a small business, come back tomorrow. We're gonna be, or just questions about Adobe XD as well.
Yep.
Tomorrow we'll be doing some more designing in Adobe XD itself. Be checking out, talking about how to use that to create great prototypes for your clients. Maybe share that work. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
And the chat, everybody, thanks.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Yeah,
It's been great.
We'll see you tomorrow.